Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well, and for teaching me this 100% truth according to the scriptures through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Of course, right? So anyways, I'm gonna just jump straight into it, man. It's titled Elisha and the Bears, right? But it's the Second Kings, the book of Second Kings, chapter 2, verse 23. Straight to the point. It says, and he went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, and Elisha, he was a man of the Lord. Let's ask ChatGPT real quick. Let's see what it says. Obviously, he was a man of the Lord, but I want to see, like, in profound what it says. It says, yes, Elisha is one of the most prominent men of God in the Bible. He was the prophet chosen to succeed Elijah. Before Elijah was taken up into heaven, Elisha asked for a double portion of Elijah's spirit, symbolizing his desire to continue God's work with God's power. What else it says? The Bible describes Elisha performing many miracles through God's power, including parting the Jordan River, purifying contaminated water, multiplying a widow's oil so she could pay her debts, raising a child from the dead, healing Naaman of leprosy, and making an iron axe head float on water. Elisha's life is presented as one of faith, obedience, and service to God. Throughout the books of 1 and 2 Kings, he is repeatedly portrayed as speaking God's message to kings and ordinary people alike. So according to the Bible, Elisha was indeed a faithful man of God and one of Israel's greatest prophets. Yup. Elijah, a man of God. Right now that we got that. Right? And he went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. Making fun of a prophet of the Lord. Look at that. Children making fun of him. That might be like, oh, well, that's not too, what? Making fun of him. It ain't too bad. Well, that right there is bad. Mocking a man of God. Mocking anybody is bad, right? That's not nice. Mocking anybody. But obviously in today's society, in today's age of time, mocking is accepted as joking, and it's just foolishness, man. Folly. And there was mocking a man of the Lord, man, at the end of the day. Elijah was a man of the Lord. A prophet at that, right? Very special to the Lord. And said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. Verse 24, and he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You see, he threw a curse on them. That's what cursing really is. Not fuck, bitch. That's just harsh language, that's not a sin. So the real biblical definition of cursing will be that. To throw a curse on somebody, a damnation. And it said it, right? It said, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. You see, he threw a curse on them. In whose name? In the name of the God of the Bible, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tear 42 children of them, And he went from thence to Mount Carmel, and from thence he returned to Samaria. The Lord put to death those children, mocking the man of Yahweh by Shemashah. That's how serious the Lord is about his men. That's how much the Lord loves his men. I don't know how much any more clearer that can get. And not just any man. First and foremost, an Israelite man. But not just any Israelite man. A man of Yahweh by Shemashah, a prophet. One who taught, one who teaches, one who obeys. Right? One who does the will of the Father. One who believes, man, in Yahweh by Shemashah. You know, one that's progressing towards salvation, man. You know, continually growing in the ministry, continually growing in the spirit too. You know, oh, you're not a, you know, people go, you're not a man of the Lord, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, it's going to come a time where the men of the Lord are going to do powers too, man. They're going to do miracles just like this, throw curses. And it's going to happen right then and there. You know, Elijah called fire from the heavens. We're going to come into a time when the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, is going to give his men, the prophets, that type of power, man. And for what? Well, obviously, to praise the name of the Lord, man. So the world can see that there is a true living God and what his name is and the name of his son. You know, but it ain't gonna, you know, and in today's time, you got a lot of people that mock the men of the Lord, and they don't even know that they're mocking the men of the Lord. They don't know that they're making fun of them. They don't know that they're making fun of the men of the Lord because they don't believe in that, right? But it doesn't mean that it ain't true. It doesn't mean that the Lord won't judge you neither for mocking his men. Just mocking. Imagine trying to hurt one of his men, or imagine hurting one of his men. You know, in any shape, way, or form, whether it's literally or emotionally. Mind you, those children mocked him. And he was hurt, emotionally bothered, man. He looked at them like these little fucking demons and threw a curse on their ass. And guess what the Lord did? The Lord said, well, you bugging, nigga. What you talking about? They just kids. The Lord answered them and destroyed those 42 children, man. Children at that, not grown men or grown women. Imagine what the Lord is going to do to you, grown men and grown women that mock the men of the Lord, man. That made their lives hell, that continually talk shit about or just, you know, made their lives hell. The Lord is going to judge you like this. Harsh. A harsh judgment. You know, now you could believe it or you cannot. It doesn't mean that it won't happen. You know, so be careful of what you say to a man of the Lord, man. You never know who you're offending. You know, so Lord willing, this was edifying, you know, and comforting unto the men of Israel, the prophets of the Lord who are doing the work in sincerity. You know, because we go through hell every day, man. And a lot of it be through the very same hands of people that are around you, man. You know, so with that being said, you know, just keep on, you know, keep on believing, keep on fighting, and the Lord is going to avenge us, man, in due time. Shalom.